board meeting to order, June 6, 2022 at about 6:33. There's no public here for comments. And we do have a member from Nottingham via phone. I'm just going to confirm. Can you, Lori, can you hear us? And can everyone hear her?
Yes.
Okay. And because we have a member coming in remotely until about 7 o'clock, we will have, if we do take votes, they will be roll call. Okay. And Lori, if you have a problem hearing, just let us know. Okay. All right. You should also know that passed out, and we'll bring it to you, is a preschool expenditure report, the monthly financial review, and a monthly expenditure report. Okay. All righty. So I guess we will start with those items.
Sure. So not too much to report on, very similar to the last time we discussed them. So the first one is, I'll go over is the SAU 44 expenditure report. So you can just see if there's anything that you want me to discuss, feel free to bring it to my attention. I'll be happy to answer it the best I can. Overall, the most important information here to discuss tonight is the projection fund balance. We're projecting about 214,000 in fund balance in the SAU. I'll give you a minute just to take a look at that.
So Lori, the projected fund balance is 213,990 for the SAU. $213,990.28 for the SAU period ending June 30th, 2022 estimated fund balance. You're welcome.
That's right.
It's just hard. I'm trying to make sure. to
Easier for
conform.
you because you got the phone right there. So that's fine.
Were there any changes, significant changes to this since the last time?
No.
Or okay.
No changes.
Are there any additional items that need to be followed through on that will impact this, you think, or
Not substantially.
this is pretty much, you think it?
There'll be some minor things as we go forward. I couldn't, it was the jingling, no problem. As we go forward, there might be some minor things, but there won't be any major changes in this. These are all where we're currently staying. It's been pretty staring through. Some of the things you might see is depending on how many hours, because we can't encumber all the hours for the special ed secretary, because it's as they can get in here, they get in. So you can't determine exactly what it would be. So there are going to be some additional encumbering and use of that throughout the end. Miss Lee comes in and fixes things up, but we can only do that as she's doing it. That would be one of your only major changes throughout here, and then some additional mileage for the rest of the, the rest of the year, mileage and travel.
Does anyone have any questions? I see a lot of people still scanning, so.
Everything looks reasonable. There's nothing that looks significantly out of whack.
No ink, it's much clearer these days.
I printed it right off the computer as opposed to making copies.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
My eyes, thank you.
So do mine.
So where you're seeing the major overall savings is where we went without those positions for quite some time. That's why you're seeing the additional savings.
Okay, Lori, were you able to hear that?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
good. So would you like to move on to the next report? Then?
Yep, so the next one, just you can see how they tie out, will be the financial review. You can just see, this is just a summary, so you can see how the expenditure will match out to the financials. So you've got the general fund, and you have preschool. Okay, and then the last one is the preschool expenditure report. So no significant changes there either. So there are some changes for people, taking benefits and not taking benefits and so forth, and starting late. And you can see that everything looks like we still have about $82,000 encumbrances left, so those should start to dwindle down in the next couple of weeks. So that's looking to be in line with what you've seen in the past as well.
And again, the large savings here is when we went without, we decided not to fulfill the child find coordinator position, and we did it differently with Ms. Brzee. So looking at that, you had a numbers of savings. That's where you see the largest portion of the 39,000 in that. And then there are some additional ones going through. You will see eventually there's currently a budget balance for rent that will have to be paid out. So that will depreciate that a little bit. However, what's not in here is the revenue. And if you remember, you had additional revenue from what we anticipated, because we anticipated much smaller classrooms due to COVID, because we weren't sure, but you have additional revenues coming in around 13,000 in addition to what was budgeted. So you are looking at a return somewhere in the ballpark of 50,000 to 55,000. Estimated surplus, I should say, not return.
Can you tell me what health ER is? 'Cause that looks like there's a zero budget.
It's a health insurance for employer. It's what your share is for health insurance.
Okay. And so that was not budgeted because that was.
What line?
Are you,
Below occupational therapy?
What's the
So
number?
what's the
Because it
number?
wasn't needed originally,
Oh,
and then
so
it
there no
was.
budget for
Yeah.
it, okay.
Yep, the person, it change in benefit
Okay.
needs.
Thank you. Second one off from the top there.
Yeah, it's just change in benefit needs.
Are there any other questions, thoughts on the financial reports?
So the balance, I just have a quick question. The balance is right now looking at about 63,000 for the
Yeah.
preschool, but you were saying 50 to 55.
Yeah, because you're gonna take 15 off for rent,
Oh, right.
and then you're gonna add about 11 back.
Mhm.
Because the reason you're gonna add it back, because there's over revenue. So
Right, right.
once they net out, it
Yeah.
will actually be more.
I was
Just
looking at
the
numbers
revenues
while
aren't
you
in
were
there.
So the revenues aren't in for 13K, but the rent that,
Hasn't been billed out yet.
so Northwood hasn't billed the rent.
That's correct.
And
That's
that's
not
what,
encumbered even.
20 or,
Mhm.
15.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
And that will be billed out.
That's cool.
It's usually billed out at the end of the year is what we've done in the past.
so it'd be a $2,000
Yeah,
net deficit in both
Yeah.
between those two and bringing it down to like
Yeah.
61.
and then any other expenditures. That's why I always go
Okay.
low. I don't want anyone to get, but you're right. It's about 61. I think it's 11,000. It's either 11 or 12, 11 or 13 for your revenue. I just don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions on the financials? Lori, can you still hear us?
Yes, and I'll give you a heads up, I'm gonna probably get off around 6:50. Just I don't want to interrupt.
All right, I'll see, hopefully I'll see that you're going. Okay. All right, so that takes us through the business administrator's report. Thank you. And do we have any other business? Ms.
No.
Lewin?
I don't believe so. The only thing I would have is if you had major questions regarding the audit and how the numbers were determined for the separation agreement. I've already gone through it. If there's not like detailed questions, I'll be able to answer it for you. If there's really complicated questions, I can answer them for you. I have no issues because I gave you supporting details already. But if you want to get a little more specific, I might need Ms. Lewin.
I have one question on it, just so we don't have to waylay you. Going to the backup for the separation agreement, the salaried employees per diem and hourly employees, the date on that is as of June 30th, 2021. So will there be, big,
That is for the separation agreement. There's no
Yeah.
changes after that.
so then, so we'll just, this is it.
That's
And
for,
everything, the audit's finalized, you don't see any,
Nope, and I attached it to it so you can get the audit number that's directly from
Okay,
your
perfect.
auditors. So you can see the 117 was there.
just wanted to
So
make
it's
sure. on
backed
that.
up.
And then these are the payout balances that correspond to those numbers.
for the separation, yes.
Correct.
And the one staff member that was in question has been removed because indeed it was paid out before the end, before the books closed.
Okay.
So that lowered that number.
Okay, and any employee that's separated already, they were not paid out? I'm thinking of the 155017 here.
Well,
It doesn't matter. But anybody that's no longer employed at the SAU, would they still be carrying a balance?
yes, because this is for the Stratford agreement only.
Okay, okay, all right.
This is for the Stratford agreement, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the ones that left this year.
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
will-
that's
okay.
different. This is only for the Stratford agreement.
All right, thanks, sorry.
Yeah, no, no problem.
Okay. All right, did anyone else have anything else? Okay.
I can leave.
If you
Yes.
would, unless you want
No
to
problem. I will act on that fast.
Quickly before you change your
Right,
mind.
before you change your mind. If you need anything, you can just let me know.
So, okay, can you move the preschool up and then I can?
Yeah, sure. So if it's okay with the board, we'll do preschool next, so Ms. LaValle can also exit. You
Yeah.
have a nice night.
So I wanted to bring to the board a request that's been made of me for a change to the COVID protocols in preschool. So you may remember back in, I think it was this January, when the DHHS and the CDC guidelines changed from the 10-day quarantines and the 21 days for school, for household contacts, when that all changed to the 5 and 5. Right, we changed at the elementary schools, but for preschool, we talked about it at this joint board level and decided that because they're so young and we have the optional mask policy, that we were going to stick to the December guidelines that were in place in December. So we never switched to the 5 and 5. So that's how we've been operating in preschool, and it's all been fine. As we get down to this last couple of weeks, we have a few students who had either a household contact test positive or the student tested positive within the 10 or 21 day timeline, but outside the 5 and 5 guideline. And those families would like their child to be able to participate in graduation on Friday. So they've made a specific request that if we were to change to the 5 and 5, their child would wear a mask. They would like to come to graduation. Graduation is being held outside. We're not having any food. So those are just kind of context information pieces. But I told them that I couldn't change the policy that we were working under unless I brought it to the joint board level. So here we are.
I would make the proposal that we change it, providing they are outside of the first 5 days, because seeing that it's outside and that they'd be wearing masks and no food. I had asked Ms. LaValle to verify in fact that they were not having food, because if there was food, I wouldn't have said switch it. But since there's not going to be any food and they're going to be outside with their parents after they do the celebration, they would leave. So I think it would warrant that as long as they wear their masks.
I think also you just might want to just throw in there that they have to be febrile for 24 hours, because that's really going to be your indicator.
They have
Yes.
to,
Fever.
no fever. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so just treat it like you would treat any other kid that is febrile. You wouldn't want to have a febrile child, around other kids, because that's when they're infectious.
Okay, got it. So as long as they're past 5 days, past post test, don't have a fever for 24 hours, and they will wear a mask for graduation is the consensus.
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
seems
That will
fair.
be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hate to
Great.
have them miss it.
The other piece was just about kind of some logistics regarding the move of the Nottingham preschool. Not sure if it can be answered tonight, but I just want to throw it out there for any input or to put it on your radar. But as we come down to the last few days for the preschool staff, so graduation is Friday, our preschool staff are working through next Thursday. And then they're done for the summer. So they're starting to think and talk about how we're packing up and how we're getting the things moved. And I just wanted to get some input from you about the plans around that and so that I can relay those to the staff and they can make sure that whatever needs to be set before they leave for the summer is set.
So the plan would be to empty it out before even the end of the month and try to, or just get it ready to go.
Right. I think we don't have to have it cleaned out, but I would like the staff to help to pack things
Mhm.
because otherwise,
It'll make it easier for them to find
And
them.
You know,
probably
so that it's
labeled and
ready for
separated
somebody-
Would make sense for them. to do that
exactly.
first.
They've already talked a lot about how things are going to be split, but I would like to be able to leave the classroom the materials for the classroom that's moving in a state that somebody like a moving company or however it's getting moved can just come in and say, this is all the stuff that's got to get moved.
So I spoke with Miss Levinson about this earlier, and because there's a Nottingham board meeting, I had proposed that they use surplus funds to purchase totes, plastic totes, and we're gonna
Okay.
talk about that later.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we recessed a meeting that we opened up just before
Gotcha.
this, so we will,
Okay,
thank you.
great.
I got you.
Is there a
Thank
lot,
you.
I mean, is there a lot of just like, just to get a sense of what,
Because there was discussion that some had to be stored, correct? That not all of this would even fit in the new room it's going to. Is that
Correct.
Correct.
And
That's my
And
thought.
we're going to be meeting with Mr. Sousa just to talk about kind of that, where there's going to be room for storage. I mean, in the hallway, there are like 4 of this size cabinets that are all filled with materials. And so 2 of those will go and they'll be filled with half of the materials, but they can't be moved with the materials in them,
Mhm.
right? So we're going to have to pack them up. And that's the piece that I would like to have the staff help do before the end of the year for them. So yes, we would need totes or boxes or something like that so that they could get it all ready.
And my recommendation is not boxes, it's totes, because boxes break down and deteriorate, but totes will not. And you'll be able to store them, stack them, and re-access them and repack them.
And
And
also
they're-
mice have trouble getting through
That's
totes
that's
and not
correct.
much trouble through the
Yeah,
cardboard.
'cause we haven't discussed if they need to be stored in, not within the building where they'll be, so.
Right.
Okay, so I'll just wanted to put that on the radar. You can let me know after your. next
So you're
meeting.
talking, so they are done next Thursday, is that what you said?
The teachers are done next Thursday, the 16th.
are there any questions for Ms. LaValley?
Thanks.
We're on to the superintendent's report.
So I do not have a personnel report, but I do have personnel matters that I need to speak to the board in non-public about. I have no correspondence that needs to be delivered. I do have a update for the separation agreement, which again would also fall under legal updates, which I need to provide, update the board on in non-public. SAU inventory, I know we have some lists going around. I think that's going to be a discussion that we can have whenever the board's ready on what they want to do. I don't know if I need to run upstairs and make additional copies of the old inventory list, where we're at. I don't know how that needs to be handled. And then compensated absences, there have been no major changes from the last one that was given to you. However, I need to speak to you about that based on the personnel. So I need to speak to you about that in non-public.
We just had the preschool discussion.
Yep. So I don't know if we want to, how the board would like to proceed.
I guess in the interest of moving forward, Nottingham did go through and look at some of the inventory lists and had provided a list to Mr. Burns. So if that's something that we need to close on, maybe we should just do that instead of leaving something hanging. What's the pleasure of the board on that? All right, so I guess we could just take that up and.
So I will I'll print this out.
Chairs don't move.
Not on.
No, they don't move very well, do they?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
No, I haven't. You guys keep moving. Like, Then I got to hear you updating the Christmas tree stuff.
He's in Long Beach,
So,
but he
like,
lives his business now.
No. he
Because
knows
he kind
about
of made
this.
it pointed, like he didn't.
No. He has a lot of plans.
I'll give this to you to pass down so everyone has a chance to
Did
review
say
it.
that also.
And I'm gonna go. I didn't give them all to you?
No, you only gave me one. That's what I was like. I guess I'm just gonna memorize it.
No, I gave you the wrong stack in my hand.
It was just seeing if you
Yeah,
were
I
away.
was like, all right, got it. Moving on.
So what, I've got this one,
Yes, that's the only one.
okay.
Does everybody need me to
So I
print
thought
out
I
the
was-
old inventory list, the one that everyone's got already?
Does everyone feel okay with? using
Oh, this
the
is,
old-
yeah.
With the total furniture list.
Yeah, that
So,
total
um,
furniture.
Maybe if it's not too big of an imposition, we could print that.
Yep.
Okay.
Print it again.
Thank you so much. I don't see as many computers as normal. He's gonna bring down the list. It just
You
might
could
be
do the
more.
original with everything on it,
I think so, yeah. Just makes it a little easier.
and then we have the tech too, which is a whole separate,
Right, we haven't really done anything. with that.
besides the things that we said we did not.
At our last. Yep. So we did go through that tech list and pretty
Right,
much
I'm just,
cleaned it up.
did we share that with, yeah,
I
Mr.
know Mr.
He was
Byrne
there.
has that,
make
so.
He
records
was
on
there, so.
of what we said that we did not need.
I think Mr. Smith gave him a list.
Well, we went through it item by item and really cross out, so I'm just making sure that he's.
So if we
Updated
need
that.
to
Mhm.
update that, we can, because we
Okay.
got that in meeting minutes. But at least we can do the inventory piece. Thank you.
That's not the one with the prices. I'm getting that one now too.
From this list, which ones they correspond to? No, right?
What now?
Do you know, or can you tell which ones these are? Or-
You're printing out a third list with with prices on.
Well, yeah, but I can tell you the L-shaped metal desk is out of the business administrator's desk. The smaller wood and metal desk and metal filing cabinet is out of the payroll desk. The desk and the bookcase from the IT office is out of the IT technology. The chairs aren't on this list, but you have 3 to 4 desk chairs that are upstairs. They're the rolling chairs. Then you have the conference table, which is on no list because it was one that it was never, it was, yeah, it was never on the list. Then you have the,
That's
Huh?
the third floor one?
yeah,
Okay.
no, third floor, because those had already been kind of put up there and no one they were never counted because all the chairs were like our old throwaways. The only thing that is of semi-decent is that table. Everything else was all the decommissioned ones from up here before that were just moved up there. The 6 red tables, 1 large metal filing cabinet, that's that one. The table, the square tables in my office. And then 14 filing cabinets, which would be just 14 of these tan. We have some green ones, we have some black ones, some gray ones, the tan filing cabinets. So that's that. Let me get you the.
I don't know if we need 14, that was just based on, I think.
Yeah, you had said.
Yeah, because there's, I don't know. Well, you have 2 HR ones at a minimum. You have 4 special ed ones. And then your accounts payable and payroll, you probably have another 6 or 7.
So that's 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what actions would we expect to take this evening on this?
So I think what Northwood would need to do is decide if they're good with all that furniture requests. And I don't think there's going to be an issue because in the previous meeting, they said take whatever furniture. Then I think what we are going to have to do, whether it's at this meeting or the next meeting, is you're going to have to look at, there's going to be more in this building left than what's needed. You're going to have to look at an asset disposal list and then take that off the price list. Because if neither one of you want it, then you have to remove it from the list as a cost and dispose of it.
I think also if you guys, you said when Nate was upstairs, you were talking about you had some conversation on the IT component stuff, because this is all just desk furniture and whatnot. So that, I mean, I think specifically
I have that list. I can reprint it if everybody needs it
And is that
again.
updated with what we discussed in our meeting?
Yep, it is. It's 100%.
Yeah, that would be great. And then, yeah,
Okay,
then,
let's do that
I mean,
then.
that's basically it. I mean, some of the stuff we were saying, like the servers, but we'll see, you know, what you put, but as long as it works, like I said before, I don't think anyone on the Northwood board is particularly attached to any individual bit of furniture, so.
You're not in love with that.
Well, I won't say it in public.
Yeah, that's a personal question. We have to have some fun, yeah.
But then I think, I mean, we're meeting next Monday also, so, and then the Northwood board is meeting this Wednesday, so then we can just when we have like the grand list, we can mark this is Nottingham, and then we'll go through Northwood, and then we can bring back what we think is left and the
What's
value
left,
of that.
yeah, I think we can have Nate or someone in the SAU office go through the difference and say, these are the things that we need to keep.
Yeah, so that'll work out, and then it's good because then we can start what we, if there's something we need to purchase for whatever reason,
Right.
the IT stuff particularly. So to jump on that, so. I'm just talking to fill up time, but I know we have the building through July, so like, I guess a plan for how we get stuff moved would be.
So Nottingham is looking at getting quotes for moving companies to move at the end of June.
Good.
So we'll be planning to move probably. So everything is in our office for July 1. So that's our plan.
So I think the major, as going back to what Ms. Levinson had asked about action items, I think the major item is just if you agree with them taking the things that are on the list, because I do believe that the boards are gonna have to sit down and talk about the separation part, just like 44 did with Stratford when they left, because you're gonna have to tie some costs to these assets and disposal of what you're not using. I think that's gonna be a decision to be had. I don't know, we kind of have to see what's left over to make that decision and to see if that's agreeable. And then we can work on looking at the assets that are left over and what the values would be.
Yeah, we were just discussing while you were upstairs that, at Northwood's meeting this week, we can talk about what's left, what we need out of that, what our plan is, and then hopefully next Monday when we get together, we can figure out what needs to be disposed of.
And I do have the one with all the prices as well. As if everybody wants to put all this together in one, I can do that right now. I can print it so you have all the documents in one. Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be easier, then we can just go and mark it up.
Yeah.
Have everyone have one
And
document.
what I'm going to do, just for the benefit of myself, because trying to pull these together for the next one, I'm gonna make a scan of all these together, and then I'll email them as well, so you have a digital copy. Okay.
The one that we worked on.
Things we removed or not removed. from this
Yeah,
list.
I think,
Yes, it's just a list.
I think this was a list
This
in
is
the,
what-
what we received
We received this, but we went through this
with our
because
tech
there's
person.
like Linksys, there's all sorts of like wireless router things that we will not need. And
Mhm.
so I believe we crossed off some of the
I have
items
a,
on this
I can
list.
go back and look at the one I marked up. I just,
No, that's because they're receiving them and we're not. This is their category, this is ours. But these 3 items, I know for sure, we said we do not need these. We will not need
Oh,
them for our
okay.
internet, and they're not removed from this list either. Like
so,
they'll have to be in no one keeps category.
yeah, so what we'll do is we'll update from our hand notes from that meeting, okay? And then get that back to you prior to your, oops, I'm sorry, prior to your next meeting.
Okay. Well, you guys recessed an earlier meeting, so we'll do that
Yeah,
later
so we
tonight.
can,
We could, yes.
yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
that I didn't bring stuff
I
from my.
may have it in this one, but we'll see. Yeah, because there may be items on this list that we also need to decommission, because I think it was just evenly split half and half. And I think there are some items that
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
no one needs. And I know it says on here and I forget, is there pre-K hardware?
No, there are some computers you would each,
Okay.
the teacher would leave with a, yeah.
Including, okay, I know, because it says no pre-K hardware included on this list, I just want to make sure.
No, it's because their computers are 4 years old.
Okay.
They'll be just sent with, yeah, there's evenly split.
Okay.
So it sounds like the next steps on this would be for you guys to take it up at your next meeting. Us to get you a list of the manual adjustments that were made at our, not last meeting, but the meeting just before that. And we'll take care of that.
Yeah, because like I said, I feel as though the boards have time, once the items are chosen, because you will have a little time to build that separation agreement afterwards. So like all that stuff will have some time. As long as we know what we're getting rid of, we can assess the values and everything from there.
I don't believe in the tech that there were things that we were looking to take additionally. I think it was just things that, like I said, could be put in the we also do not need category. Because I believe this, the hardware assets was more made, you know, I think Mr. Stanley went through and said what needs to stay here and what makes the most sense to stay here, and kind of everything else was then put.
Except for
Like
Kevin
separate.
asked for all that stuff.
No. some of
Except
these
for
things-
one of, it was one router that he said he didn't really need, but he
There were
would
a
make
few
use.
things.
Okay.
Well,
Do
I
you
think
remember-
that he said he could use them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we
no,
do
it makes
not
sense.
need them. I don't know if they.
Yeah, we can go look at our list.
Yeah, that
We
makes
sat
sense, yeah,
With
yeah.
Kevin and he kind of went through. And we-
Yeah, I
we
did. The
marked
only
it
thing
all
I,
up,
yeah, the only thing I remembered was the router, because and then the wheel writer, but he really wanted it.
Right, that
Yes,
typewriter.
yes,
He
he
wants it,
really
but
wants that.
It's a
And
school
I'm-
thing.
But it's a school property and. if it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
used
I
for
get,
school
that was the,
functions,
yeah.
not sure.
So anyway, we can get those lists. That's easy.
Mhm.
So do we have anything else for action items on this tonight? This is the kind of what we'll use to go forward, and we have that action item, and then you guys have yours for Wednesday.
Do we- So this list that just came down, compared to the email that we got first, I just want to make sure that before we leave, that we all know what this email refers to on this list. So
Okay.
that
That
way,
is a mystery.
yeah, that way if there, avoid any potential miscommunication. So
I can try my best to break that down.
Mhm.
So the L-shaped cherry desk
Mhm.
is in Miss Bulger's room, so administrative assistant. L-shaped oak laminate is in HR.
that one.
It's on there.
Wait,
So I guess what would help me is we go
to
through.
compare to this list.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing.
So that's, so
Or were you thinking this list?
So,
Yeah, I
here's-
was thinking the
I just wanna know
L-shaped
which one's
cherry
which.
desk,
I thought
does
it- yeah.
Nottingham want it or not? Is that a yes?
No.
Nottingham wants
the
it or no?
L-shaped one that we were looking at, I think, was the business administrators. So
Right.
Which one is that?
The L-shaped, it
Wood
is
and metal.
wood and metal.
It's two different sizes.
You didn't take anything out of Ms. Bulger's. I wasn't there
No.
for the
Yeah, I don't think
walkthrough,
so.
so this must be it was an empty,
Just mostly.
who was
metal,
there?
It's this-
Carol and, who walked through that day, last Thursday, a couple Thursdays ago?
Yeah.
You and Carol
And more.
and Lori. And Megan, were you there?
I was not.
Okay, so
So wood desk L-shaped, which is like halfway down, is that the?
That's the problem with the original list, doesn't, I don't have it where it's at. And so
But-
nobody, the people who created this list are here. So we don't know.
Right.
So
It's best guess.
I know most of them.
Mhm, okay. Do you know which L-shaped wood and metal desk?
that's business
Corresponds to
admin
the one
office,
on
I
this.
think.
I believe they have it listed as the wood desk L-shaped,
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the one.
the $6.99.
Okay.
Is there, I can tell you all of them. I'm pretty sure I have them all.
All right, yeah, so
Well,
that's
I think
the L-shaped wooden and metal desk. I'm
Yeah,
putting that-
so the executive desk is also requested. That is the one that's out of IT.
Okay.
Okay. And then it would just be one of the steel desks that they were requesting, one of the 7 steel desks. That's one, yeah. Filing cabinets, again, I'll do a hard count, but we had 41 minus the 8 we sent out, which is down to 33. And I just said you're gonna roughly split them, but we can say about 14 of them, 12, minimum of 12, but And then they want one of those L cabinet, the large cabinets, which is right there, the steel cabinets. The side chairs. So there's a number of different side chairs here when you're looking at side chairs. So if you look at the burgundy fabric, which is what it's these,
These are the
6 of these. And then 4 black ones, which fall under the 191.99 side chairs. Those are the black ones. Those were the most recent ordered. And then there's a 36-inch square conference table. That's 195. That's out of my room. Am I going too fast? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I have,
Where's the square one?
the square one is underneath the racetrack table. So it's about the top 1/4 of the page or so.
36 square.
And I missed some of the chairs. I'm sorry. I got the
Are there
6
desk
burgundy.
chairs?
I got the 6 burgundy chairs, but then for the other side chairs. I mean,
The other side chairs are the black side chairs, and those are the 191.99 ones.
okay,
There's
5 of them on the list.
there's 7 total, but yes, 5.
5 on the list.
And how
There-
much?
There's 7 total, but they want 4 of them.
Okay. Sorry.
It's listed in 2 different spots because they did it by room. But it's the 191s because those are the newest ones, the black. So we have other side chairs that are blue, but those are older side chairs.
And then that 36-inch square conference table, is that the one?
Yes. And then you have let me look at it. Where is it at? 3 shelf unit. No, that's not it. It's the book, they just put it as, I don't think he separated it because I don't see it anywhere on here. So that bookshelf, the 4-shelf bookshelf, there's some 4, there's some 5. That would be like the one in Aaron's room. There's the IT room. Because you can't, there's no other spot where it says shelving, like cabinets. So he just lumped it together because even though it has doors, he still lumped it as a normal wooden cabinet in this list. Yeah.
There was a file cabinet and. That we have listed
Metal
too,
filing
but I
cabinet.
don't know if that's just one of the regular filing cabinets.
Yeah, it's a little one. No,
So
it's a
that's the
little,
2 drawer.
It's in the
Yeah.
2 drawer.
yeah, you want it 1-2 drawer. It's there.
And desk chairs, those are just, it's only lists.
You have a bunch of different desk chairs,
Oh, the
swivel task chair,
Task
desk
chair,
chairs.
desk chair, Okay, so
Yeah.
those are.
Yeah.
Just doesn't say those enough.
Well, there are a
It's a
bunch of
big
old
tall
ones.
chair,
Yeah,
there's
there's a
executive
bunch of
chair.
old ones in here. But where you're looking at the newer ones, you'd be looking at the swivel tasks and the desk chairs, the two mesh desk chairs like because at the time they were bought, I would say they should be lower now though, as we said, used price to 120, but it's the Miss Valley's chair is one of them, and there's a couple other of those nicer mesh. They're cushioned on the bottom, but mesh on the back.
Okay.
We have 3 of those that we set aside. We only need 3 now, I think, because we just ordered you a 4th one.
Maybe you need to order that. If we
It's
have
already
those
ordered.
still. That's fine. I know, I was just, yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So
Good.
is that?
Okay.
is that
Yeah,
it?
that helps. Thank you. And then you, well, before our Wednesday meeting, we have a technology list.
Yeah, we'll try and update that.
Cool,
So I
awesome.
think that is it to do.
Yeah, then we can take that up on Wednesday and then next Monday, hopefully.
Have it with the, can we maybe have it with? Is there a way to put it all?
Yes, I'll take care.
Yeah, thank you.
separating it out
Hmm.
of what's already been chosen on this.
Kind of like how this one goes, but with the
Yep.
furniture. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a, they want, and it's, they don't want, and you want, and they don't want, so there's gonna be 3 columns.
Okay, and then we have to, yeah, make that decision about all the don't.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
We could give them a school and more cheaper.
Have their trophies in it.
So going through this again, the personnel report would be non-public, correspondence, there's none. C is non-public, D is non-public, we just did inventory. F is non-public, and we're done with G, so I think at this point, it's moving into non-public.
I'll make a motion that we move into our non-public session.
RSA 91A32, BA, B, C,
And
and then
now,
L.
Second.
Hmm.
I don't know who actually made the motion.
I did, but I didn't put all my letters in, but.
So
sounds
that's all
like
right,
we got it.
I'm just trying to check it.